Let me show you a real life trade that I did so you can kind of see how this works here on screen. So I might jump some slides, but you already know Pastor's going to get them to you. So let me just sniper a few slides that I know you got questions. A couple questions came, and that's always a great thing. So let's go to the next slide for me, please. So really quick, a call buyer, premium paid 88 cents, call at a 225 strike. It's worth now a premium of $3.30. I know, it's Mandarin. Of Apple, it went to $225 a share. So remember I did the profit of $2.42 times 100 shares, $242 profit. One option costs $88 or 88 cents. That's a 275% return. That's a great return, right? And that's just one little option, one little option, right? That cost you 88 bucks. So I can't invest. You got 88 bucks? You probably spent 88 bucks at Starbucks last week, okay? That's just real talk, okay? And that's what you can literally do tomorrow, okay? And so people think, I don't have tens of thousands. You don't need tens of thousands, right? You just need the knowledge, and you want to start slow. You want to get the right coaching. And tonight, listen, I'll offer you a solution, but you don't have to do it. You can go for it, but you just got to find someone to be able to help you do this, okay? The next slide. So if you lost money, let's say the trade went the other direction, which is possible, right? No one's gonna be 100%. You're gonna have some losers, but you wanna make sure that your winners are more than your losers, right? And it all evens out at the end of the year. But let's say paid premium, 88-cent call. Let's say Apple went to zero, right? It dropped and it was at 215. You take a loss of $88. So your maximum loss was $88. Your maximum gain was $275. Does that make sense? So 88, you know your down risk. You know, if you're like, but I lost 88 bucks. You lost 88 bucks at Starbucks, what you really lost. Come on now, all right? So all I want to show you is you have a predetermined risk. So it's not like you can lose more than what you paid for an option, all right? Let's go to the next slide. Okay, we'll do questions at the end. Next slide. Let's go. I'm not going to talk about put options other than tell you that you can make money even when the stock market goes down, okay? So there are a lot of people made a lot of money during COVID when the stock market was going down. So bad news could be good news if you know how to invest in the market, okay? So when Boeing, the door blew off, I bought me some put options, and your boy made some money on Boeing because doors be flying off. Come on, somebody. Amen. Should have fixed your door, Boeing. All right, come on, somebody. Next slide, okay? But if you don't have an investment account, you can't take those moves, right, when they come. Value on option goes up as the stock price goes up. Next slide. And then a put option is just the opposite. The value of the option goes up as the stock price goes down. So if you believe a stock is going to go down, you can actually buy a put option, and you can actually make money when a stock is going down, okay? You can hedge, like, for example, during COVID, what I was telling people, if they had, like the market was going down, but they had their retirement accounts, you can actually buy put options as protection to your retirement account. So that when the market goes down, you're making money without selling your retirement stocks. Okay? That's what people were doing on Wall Street. Meanwhile, we're like, oh, but you can actually do that. Knowledge is power, guys. And you can protect your retirement accounts, your pension accounts, by having put options as protective. We call them protective puts. You buy some protective puts because you just want to make sure. And let's say the market didn't go down. You're like, so what? I just bought some insurance against my portfolio, right? If the market does go down, you made money. And you go, okay, but I don't want to sell my retirement portfolio. So you can actually make money on the opposite side. Let's continue here. Next slide. Options have a let's go to the next slide. Next slide. You can actually no, go back. You can exercise it. You don't have to hold it to expiration. You can if you want to. But let's say back to that Apple option that expires in August of 2025. You don't have to wait till the expiration date to exercise that option. Let's say tomorrow we wake up and Apple signed a new AI deal, which, by the way, it's a great place to invest, and Apple goes from 220 to 260. Your option's gonna be worth a lot. You can right away exercise and take your profit right then. You don't have to wait till August to take your profit. And I've always tell people, no one ever went broke taking profit. So take your profit and congratulations, you won, okay? And so exercise your option before expiration. Let's go to the next slide. Hold to expiration, basically you can do that if you want, but one option, $1.80, $108 in premium. Let's continue there. So I'm not going to go over that slide. Let's go next. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about puts. Let's continue. Go next. I'm sorry, guys. Next. We'll go next. We'll go next. We'll go next. Take your, there's my saying. No one ever rotating product. Let me talk about this time decay. So this is called theta, ice cream cone effect. The enemy of option is time. As time goes on, that's going to make your option be less in value. It's the ice cream cone effect because it's like having an ice cream on a hot Orlando day, and it just begins to melt. Your option will melt when you have short time span. That's why we stay away from theta by buying options that are longer expiration dates, okay? Longer expiration dates. Next slide. And so theta there, that's how that goes. Next slide. It goes down in value. Limit your sizing positions, the amount you're willing to risk relative to the size of your portfolio. So just some techniques to be able to do that. Okay, let me see. I'm going to have you jump to, oh no, go to next slide. I'm going to go quick. Next slide. No. If you're too big, okay. Here's what you can do. I recommend everybody do this, is I have my accounts at Charles Schwab, my trading accounts. And you can go right now and you can actually do a paper trading account, okay? And so set up an account. You can fund it with $100, okay? $100. And then you actually need to set up an account, fund it with $100. They'll give you access to paper trading. So you can actually give yourself paper money, give yourself 10 grand. You're like, I got 10 grand. Well, it's just paper. Come on now, right? And you can actually start practicing this. And I recommend you do that before you do real money, is you do practice. Just you practice with it, right? And you can do that. You can sharpen your trading skills there. Think or Swim is the program that I'm showing everybody right now of where I buy my options and my stock. And you can literally go tonight and you can set it up tonight. It's 24 hours. You can and then connect it to your bank account and you just transfer $100 and you got yourself an investment account. Let's go to the next slide. So check it out. You can go to Webull. That's another one, paper trading account. And you can open it, like I said, right away. Everyone in this room can do it tonight, literally 2 nights. All right? Next slide. And no, we won't take a question. We'll take a look. No, let's go to the next slide. Delta. And this is the speed, the delta curve. Go to the next slide, just how fast the option moves. Let's go to the next slide. Go to the next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, we're not going to go over tech, but I'll just go quick technical analysis. Next slide. So risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. Warren Buffett. Thank you, Oracle Omaha. All right, so just you got to know what you're doing, y'all. You know what I mean? It's just the bottom line. Okay, next slide. And technical analysis, I skate to where the puck is going. So he says that's what technical analysis does. And so go to the next slide. Just really quick charts here. Charts tell us what to do. I show everybody in the academy how to read these and what I look at. Those are RSI, Relative Strength Index. Just tells you if a stock is oversold or overbought. Let's go to the next slide. What causes the chart to move? Buyers and sellers. It's just like any market. It's like real estate. If there's more buyers than there are houses for sale, what happens to house prices? They go up, right? Same thing with stock. If more people want to buy the stock than actual stock that's available, it's going to go up in value. And if more people are selling it, then obviously it's go down in value. Next slide. A bunch of indicators. Next slide that just tell you where things are going. Chart patterns, tons of those. Next slide. And I'll wrap it up here in literally 5 minutes, and then we'll take questions. All the pricing, right, tells you where the stock is. Next slide. Type of technical analysis, there's lagging indicators and leading indicators, so some tell you where the stock has been, but we want leading indicators, which is telling us where the stock is going, right? Nobody knows where it's going, but you'll have some indication of where it's headed. Next slide. All indicators alert, confirm, or predict what exactly we're looking at. Next slide. And candlesticks, obviously, I'm sure everybody has seen that. It just shows you how the buyers and sellers are doing. Next slide. And bullish going up, bearish going down, sideways is range bound. We are in a bull market right now, and bull markets can last up to 10 years. And there'll always be red days, but those are buying days in my opinion. Next slide. So obviously there's the chart that I showed you guys, right? It's trending bullish. Next slide. And here's really just basic trending bearish, obviously. And there's kind of shows you when it's in the range and when a turnaround you're looking for. Go to the next slide. And sideways range, you can even make money on this, right? Sideways by selling options, but go to next slide, just basically consolidating. Bullish going up, next slide. Bearish going down. You see how that chart's going down right there? And obviously all these indications are in that area. Next slide. Support and resistance basically just tells you where stocks are being sold off or bought at. And you always want to buy stocks at support. You don't want to buy stocks at resistance unless you believe it's on a breakout. but that's a high risk game. Okay, next slide, and we will wrap it up here. Okay, chart patterns there, and I think that's about all I have, and yeah, we will go from there. Come on, give God a hand clap. Good stuff. Let's take some questions, and we will rock and roll it on what we have here. Awesome. And I'll show you at the end all about the academy. But let's take some questions. Any questions that you may have, and we'll go for it from there. My brother right here has a question. We're going to give the microphone because other people might as well be with it. Mm-hmm.
Well, you were going to give us your stock.
That's right. I did promise you that. You're like, you told me.
I'm serious.
I'm serious. Yeah, curious. That's right. The number one stock I am buying right now, and I hold a lot of options of this stock, okay? And let me just tell you the fundamental analysis. It passes my number one test. It's a large cap company, okay, because it's worth $170 billion, okay? It's $170 billion. Number two, technical wise, it's on a bullish uptrend. Three, fundamental wise, it has over 150 million users and is profitable with over 10 billion in cash, okay? And it went down only because people think that the robo-taxis are gonna take them out, and robo-taxis ain't gonna come out anytime soon, and that stock that I'm buying is Uber stock. Anything under 65, buy, okay? Even right now, if you wanted to nibble, I believe it's at 67.5 or 68, total buy. Technical analysis has it going at minimum, and I want to be on record of saying, even before all the analysts, it's in my well producers, the ones that are in my group, they know I've been talking about this stock for the last month. We're already, positioned in the trade, but it's at least going to go to 91, but it can break all the way to 100. And so it's an easy, at least 30% gain on that sometime this year. And the last one, you're going to like this one. At the inauguration, there were 7 CEOs there. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook, Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, and Dara Keshkara, the CEO of Uber. I'm just saying. You do what you want with that, your boy is buying. God bless all y'all. Amen. All right, there you go. You're welcome.
I got some questions I'm going to ask you as we go back and forth. And if you have a mic, can you just stand up so that I can see? Because I want to kind of make it back and forth. So if you have a question, lift up your hand. Allie has a mic over here. There's a mic over here.
Sure.
First off, I need you to give us, what do you offer us? If we want to go and dive more in, please tell us.
Okay,
what do you offer?
Can you go to those slides really quick towards the end? I believe, I have it on here. So there are 3 levels to join in if you want. And go down if you can for me, team. Here it comes. No? Next slide. Yeah, keep going. You'll see it there and you can jump to it. So gold members here is, I'm going to give it for sale today, all right? And normally it's $19.95 and usually it's $9.97. I'm giving you it for $6.97, okay? It's access to all my modules, 4-week to my day-to-day options trades, 2 semi-monthly Zooms, you can jump on it for this time, a monthly access for a lifetime, and 1 ticket to the Well Produced Summit. It's also available online, but you can jump onto this. And this is an investment into yourself. I always tell people lose more money trying to do it on their own. So if you want to learn something, you have access for a lifetime, you can jump in on this. And
where do they go to get that?
Oh, that's going to be on the next slide. So, and then also have brochures. I guess we could hand them out to everybody as well. Next slide. This one is for platinum members, someone that's more of an active trader. This is access to all my modules, 2 semi-monthly Zooms, monthly access for a lifetime to my day-to-day options trade. So you'll know when I buy, when I sell, what stocks I'm looking at. You're part of a private group, and you get 2 VIP tickets to Well Produced Summit. And normally it's $9.95. And I usually sell this for $5,900, but it'll be $4,997, and you can do that. So either one of those that you want to jump in on, you can scan the QR code there. It'll take you to the website, and you can jump on in, and we'd love to have you in the academy, and you can be a part of all that and invest into your future doing all that. You can go to college, get a 4-year degree, and you won't learn a lot of this stuff. It's something that I've learned being in real time on
I
the
got
floor.
that degree, and you're right.
Come on, somebody. Yeah, learn all that. So jump on in. Love to have you there. If not, I pray this was a blessing. Give us a follow on Wealth Producer Academy.
Awesome. I'll take the first question over here. I need you to jump up, though. You're not ready? First question over here. I need you standing so I can go back and forth. Yeah, if you just give him a mic.
Yeah.
Come on.
So whenever you make profit on the stock, does it go into your investment account and then you put it into your personal account or
Correct.
whatever?
Yeah. So your investment account, think of it as a holding account. Whenever you make profit, you take it out of the stock market to your holding account, your investment account. And then from there, you just have your checking account linked up or whatever account you bank at, and you can send it over in a day, you know. You can also that's why I love Schwab, because you can actually have your checking account there. It takes you in an instant, whoop, right over next to your account. So yes, that's
Please
a good
find
question.
the next person over here. Please stand if you got a mic. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I would like to know what your viewpoint is on these up-and-coming tech startup companies. It doesn't seem like they fall within your five-point criteria, but I often hear people, for example, Amazon is a $1 trillion company now, but back in the day, they were selling textbooks, and I hear people often say, I wish I would have invested in Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question, and I would say that really is what it's called in the financial world, a unicorn. And so some of these companies are unicorns, and for every one, like NVIDIA or Amazon, there were 1,000 that didn't work. That's why I just keep it safe, and I look at my 5 criteria. And once they get into my criteria, then I'm looking for the value in the company that's already profitable. Can you do that? Totally. That's not how I've built my portfolio. And that's some people's strategy. You know, they'll just say, I'm gonna put $100 on 100, see which one hits, you know? Totally, you can do that. I don't do that. To me, that's a little more high risk, you know? And I would look to buy, like I mentioned, the Newport Beach stocks that you can do right now. So that would be my advice. Can you do that? I'll say this, 1% of your portfolio you can just have fun with. You know, 1%. Just be like, I'm gonna do this, see what happens, you know? Nothing wrong with that. Great question, yeah.
So good. Next.
Do you have any books on options?
I do not have any personal books on options. A lot of this is things that I've learned my whole life, but I receive it that I will write a book on options. I will do that, amen, yeah. I'm always careful not to recommend things I haven't read, you know, but can you go on Amazon and just type in stock options book, then you'll get 100 that will come up. But I personally have never read those. This is just things that I've learned from having all my licenses over years and on the trading floor. But I hope this helps. I'm sorry if I don't have that better. Yeah, question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Should I re-ask the question that I asked
Sure.
earlier? Okay. Well, that's not the question I want to ask now. But
So ask the question now. Ask the question now then.
Okay.
Go for it.
So Dave Ramsey says to invest $100 in the S&P 500 because it's an index fund, and then it'll end up multiplying whatever.
Sure.
But based off of this strategy, it doesn't seem like index funds is your thing.
So I have 2 type of funds. I have my set it and forget it funds. That's my retirement fund.
Yeah.
And so that I put it in index funds.
Okay.
Personally, I don't do the S&P. I like the triple Q or the VOO because it's a lower monthly cost, so the VOO, and it puts it in the biggest tech companies and it divides it. Some companies in the S&P 500 are just, I would never invest in them, so I don't want to invest in it, you know. So that's what I do for my set it and forget it. But I always tell people you can have both. So have one for that, and then have others where you're like, I'm going to now, this is my trading account. And so that's the one that I'm more active in, and I buy single stocks. If you go to your local bank and your financial advisor say, hey, I want to put $1,000 on Uber, then I'll be like, we don't do that here, you know? Because they don't, and I'm going to say this kindly, if you're a financial advisor, you're probably one of the good ones. But most of them, they don't have no time to be watching your money, okay? They just want to have more sales, right? And just put you in a set it and forget it, because that's how the bank makes money. And when I was a financial advisor, that's what made money. But what I show you in the academy, what makes it different than anything else is I'm not telling you what to invest it in. I'm telling you what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm showing, like you have a peek over my shoulder of how I manage my portfolio. And then it's not something that, you know, it's just there. It's something that I'm personally putting my money into. And you can actually see it. I always say it like this. It's like if you ever played Words with Friends or Scrabble with somebody, And when you play against someone, you get better because you see all their moves. Okay, that's what you got to do in the investment world. So I show you how these single stocks are doing it. So you can do both. You know what I mean? I do both. That's what I recommend. Totally.
You had another question?
Well, I was
Go
going to
ahead.
re-ask it for the
Yeah.
rest of the audience. So my confusion earlier was with the example with
Yeah.
the Apple stock.
Sure.
So essentially, when you buy the option and the option ends up making money, I thought you owned the options. So how do I
Yeah,
phrase this?
it's okay.
I
Own the
thought you
stock.
owned the stock, exactly, after. So,
Yeah.
which if you only paid 88 cents, but then you end up getting 100 shares, and
Yes.
100 shares are valued at $221 per share, then
Yeah.
you have a bunch of money. But
Right.
in reality, you don't own the shares.
You don't. You own the
You-
contract.
yes.
That's right. You own the options contract. That's what you own. That's great. Now, if you take it to expiration, you can take ownership of all the shares, but you got to come up with the 22,000 XYZ, XYZ. You don't have to do that. Just sell it before, and you're good to go. Yeah, before. Question, yeah.
All right, Michael?
I have a couple if I can. First would be, how do you prioritize or strategize with paying off debt and then also investing? Should you do one before the other or
Yeah.
do them both at the same time?
That's a great question, and I'm going to give you what I personally do. This is where I split with a lot of financial advisors, okay, or should I say a lot of great companies out there. I think everybody has their opinion, on what you can do. I personally say get into the investor economy, like get it, because here's why I say that. Most people that are like, well, I'm trying to get out of debt. There is still money that you could say, no, I want to start building my portfolio, right? Start getting income. And so I tell people, get into the investor economy ASAP, right? And look for ways to, again, make more money to get into the investor economy. And then you can actually, from your investments, pay some stuff off as well. If you do it right, okay? So don't, people, well, I'm going to buy, Dogecoin, and it's going to go to the moon, and I'm going to pay off all my debt. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my opinion, okay? If you're in Dogecoin, I'm not judging you. But it's hard for me to look at that and say, but when does it report earnings? What does it sell? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it hurts my brain. So I think if you're in the right investments, I would say start building your portfolio. Don't wait, man. Don't wait.
Okay. And then, if you don't mind, where can we learn to be tax savvy with our profits? Do you have any advice there?
Yeah. As it comes to that, I'm not a CPA, full disclosure, but I do have a CPA who helps me, so I can only kind of regurgitate a little bit of what he helps me. So the number one thing that I could tell you is the biggest savings is I set up my investment account under LLC. So Josiah Silva Investments LLC. And because of that, I can write off everything as it pertains to my investments. Every fee that I pay for an option, anything I pay, for my phone, anything I do with trading is a complete write-off. My office, everything, because my investment account, my investment LLC is a business, right? And so that's a great way to offset any of your capital gains or any of your expenses and to lower your profits. However, I will say this, options, if you sell it within 1 year, you're gonna pay short-term capital gains. If you sell it after a year, then it's long-term capital gains. Yes, it's a difference of 10%, right? 25 or 30%, depending on 15%. But I live by this saying is I'd rather pay taxes on gains than to take write-offs on losses. Like all day long, no problem. Hey, if I'm paying on gains, praise God. That means I made money, right? And so I've seen people where they hold on too long because they think it's gonna go even higher. I don't wanna pay taxes. And they end up taking a loss where they could have just taken a gain. And so I've been in this market for a while. So that would be my best advice that I apply.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How do you feel like the Trump presidency will affect the stock market and investments?
That's a great question. Trump has made it very clear that he has said the measurement of his presidency will be the stock market. No president has ever said that. Just want to let you know, okay? So as an investor, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about, And if there's one thing he's going to do is he's gonna make sure that stock market is not going down. So he's almost put what's called a put underneath to hold it up. The second thing that's important is he is getting so much outside money into America. People of God, do you know what that means? When that money comes here in the billions and the trillions, the stock market, the rich are gonna get richer. And this is just my opinion, okay? To each one their own. Hashtag don't sue me, bro. Sorry, you okay? Okay, that's me, all right? This is what I am doing. He understands the stock market because he's a businessman, okay? He understands it. The way the market is about to, okay, everybody has to make their own call, so here's my call. The way the market is gonna make its next leg up, number one is because all the companies are profitable. Number two, though, interest rates right now, the 10-year bond, okay, is at 4.65. And I teach all this in the academy. I want indicators to look at. 4.65. The FOMC has already declared to us that over the next year, they want to lower rates, but they don't want to lower it until core inflation goes down. Trump is smart. Here's what you want to listen to, okay? He knows the number one way to get inflation down is to bring oil down. That is why he went to Saudi Arabia and said, lower the oil prices. Here's what you want to listen. This is, man, I'm giving, people pay a lot of money for this, okay? If you hear oil going down, interest rates are going to follow. And what happens when rates go down? What happens when rates go down? Houses go up and the stock market is going to go up. And he knows the game, okay? And so he's gonna get those oil prices down by drilling more and having Saudi Arabia, who just committed $600 billion to the US, and he told them lower those oil prices, and he's gonna get that oil down. And once oil goes down, rates go down with it. But when you look at it, it's oil. And so remember I told you that indicator, okay? Oil goes down, game over. The market's just gonna go.
It doesn't matter who you vote for.
It don't matter. No, it don't. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
When you're doing technical analysis, are there certain indicators or what kind of strategies do you follow? Like trends or like head and
100%.
shoulders or MACD or
totally.
RSI, all those things?
Sounds like you know what you're talking about, all of that. So yeah, you know what you're doing, totally. So I would say the trend is my friend. So that would be my number one. If you had to ask me, it would 100% be the trend. You know, I'm looking for that it's trending in my direction. Then I would say the next one would be the RSI, the relative strength index, if a stock is overbought or oversold. And so I'm looking at that super strong, because if I see that a stock is oversold, right, and I see it's trending in a bullish trend, but let's just say it had some bad news, I'm like, that's not the trend. That was just a one instant moment, you know? And I look at that. As far as like head and shoulders and stuff, totally possible, you know? But I would put those kind of like on third and fourth, because the market does whatever it wants. Like, truth be told, head and shoulders are what all of us say. The market don't care about head and shoulders, right? The market don't care about that. So I'll give you one more, probably the third one. So I go trend, I go relative strength index, and I go measured moves. And so I teach in the academy is how to see the measure move, because the market always moves. The market, for his history, has always moved in twos. And so I show how to do the double measured moves. And I'm not going to say I'm a stock prophet, but there's more times than not, they're like magnets. It's like sooner or later it shows. And then the last one I'll give is any gaps on the chart, any major gaps. Okay, it doesn't have to fill the gap, but always highlight your gaps in your technical analysis, because it will. Okay, sorry, it will be there. Okay, I better move on. Okay, so highlight your gaps. That's a good.
You got good
too much?
peripheral vision there. I just moved the mic.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
The gentleman way
Yes, sir,
over there.
Pastor.
So
I'll take it.
I was wondering, is Tesla a good stock because its cap is at 1.305 trillion?
Yeah.
So do you think that's a good stock overall?
So Tesla would fit all my criteria minus the fourth one, the technical analysis. I think, remember when buying high and hoping it goes higher? That'd be the only reason why I'm not a buyer of Tesla right now.
You'd buy it low.
Yeah. So I would buy it lower. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I have to look at my chart, so I don't want to say it, of where I have my buy signal at for Tesla. But I would definitely, I'm not buying right now, but you can do whatever. My
So it
lawyer
wouldn't-
says you can do whatever you want to do. Okay, yeah.
So it wouldn't fail as long as you keep investing when it's low, it would go up, right?
So, I mean, I think Tesla is definitely going to be part of the future. You know, 100% is innovation. But I personally am not buying it right now, because I don't feel that I'm getting a dollar of value for a discount. You know, I feel like it's pretty fully valued right now. You know, but if I see that thing head probably, and again, this is just me. I'm trying to remember my chart. I believe 320 was one of the supports. So I see somewhere underneath that, I don't feel like I'm getting a good value, you know. But right now, it exploded, man, you know. And so teach one their own, though. I'm not saying if you buy high, it won't go higher. It might, you know. But in like I told you, my strategy is sometimes the higher you buy, the harder it can fall. So hopefully that helps.
The second question I had is, what are some options or platforms to buy options?
The one I showed you guys right there, the Charles Schwab, that's the one I use. And they bought out TD Ameritrade. The Thinkorswim is super user-friendly. And just in my experience, if you call them, they love helping you. Like, they really love helping you. You can call, hey, can you show me? And it's really cool. So I recommend that one right there. God bless, man.
Okay, let me go right here.
Okay, so you said something about like day of life activities and stuff. For someone who works 40 hours a week and beginner, right?
Yeah.
In addition to like obviously taking
Sure.
your course, what does it look like to manage this on your own versus paying somebody to do it?
That is a great, wonderful question. It's as you can be as busy as you want or not involved as you want. I personally, I like to buy it and set what is called buy limit orders. So again, I teach that is you can actually, on your regular time, and the beauty is even from your cell phone, is you can set buy this option at this price, good till canceled. You go about your day, and you go, bing, oh, I bought a stock. And it takes you, I had it on the slides, but for the sake of time, I show how, like a video of me buying an option, it takes literally 45 seconds when you know what you're doing. Most people, it's not that they don't know what to buy, they just don't know when to buy. And that's why I teach people is when to buy. And that is the difference, right? Everybody knows, like he just said, Tesla's a good stock. Everybody knows they should buy it, but when do I buy it? That's the key. And so with this, back to what was spoken in my life, is just to help people develop that eye or that ear. So to answer your question, take you 5 minutes, and then you just leave it. And then you check on it whenever you want to check on it, and then you're good. So it's not something that's like hours every day. I'm not a day trader where I'm trying to scalp, every minute a couple $100. I find good stocks, and what takes time is just to say my next buy at this level. So just putting in your buy limits, but you can do that after the market is closed. You can do that early in the morning. You can do that as much as you want. So. Hope that answers your question. Yeah.
So if a person has like $1,000, they want to get in somewhere. Do you think that that's enough just to get started?
100%.
And what would you do?
So I would break that $1,000 into what I call nibbles. So I nibble into a particular stock, and I wouldn't put the whole 1,000 at one price. So we're going to break that up into portions. And what I teach is that a nibble, and because I love your pastor, and I'm giving you the gold right now, is a nibble, as I teach, is a 1% of your total portfolio value. Break it into nibbles, okay? Sometimes might be a 2% buy. I would never go over a 3% buy of your total portfolio, because I've seen stocks that they're good stocks, and they're just mispriced. They're mispriced, and you have to be patient, and you want to be able to buy as it comes into your price. And the lower it goes, the more value you're getting, right back to pennies on the dollar when it's a good stock. And I've been in this for 20 years. You wake up one day and that stock just kaboom, right? Because it's a good company, and today I decided it's going to price it right. And that's what's going to happen with Uber, with my portfolio. I don't know about you guys, because you can do whatever you want. I know what I'm doing, okay? It's going to be priced. And if it goes lower, I'm like, please go lower. Right. Because I want to buy more. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so I'll give you this last frame of thinking for the $1,000. You always want to make sure that you have, we call it dry powder, to buy more if it comes closer into your place. A good investor should always have the feeling of, I wish I could have bought more. That's a good feeling. When you go, oh man, I only bought that much because it ended up going higher, you almost feel bad you didn't get to buy more. That means you're a good investor. A bad investor goes, why did I buy so much? Okay. So a lot of what investing is reworking the psychology of the market, and why, please don't take this as a sales pitch or anything, but that's why you need the right people to teach you in this area. If you never had a father or a cousin or an uncle to help you know how to navigate these chartered waters, and that way you don't just get out of it. But hope that's,
I only got time for one more, really. Yeah. I'm seeing. I'm sorry, I saw her first. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So you talked about the criteria that you use, and so some of it is obvious. So you have the charting, like how does it look? What's the value? But you also talked about a good balance sheet.
Yeah.
So how do we evaluate what a good balance sheet looks like?
So right away, I always look on cash on hand versus liabilities. That'd be the best nugget I can give you. Can they pay off all their liabilities? If they can't pay off all their debt, then that's risky to me, because that means that they don't have the actual cash to pay off all their debt if they need to. So that would be the biggest red flag. I would help you. That would be an automatic, like, I don't look at anything else. I don't even care about your profit margins. If you don't have the cash to pay off your debt, that means you can go under. And so I'm like, next, so that would probably be the biggest knife I can give you. You're welcome, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I heard your wife say something when we were in the back room about your emotional maturity. Can you just talk to us a little bit about that? Because she says that when the stocks go down, you don't get nervous, you don't lose sleep. And I think sometimes when people get in investments, it will tear their world up if they feel like stuff isn't going the right way.
That's a great point. Yeah.
They'll have ulcers and be at the altar needing prayer.
Yeah, pray for
Can
me.
you just talk to us about your investor
Yeah.
mindset and stamina?
Totally. That's a great question. I'd say the first thing that will help your investor mindset is never invest money that you need next week, right? So like, this is investment money. This is not my rent money, my mortgage money. This isn't, my grocery money.
It's
Come
not
on,
your
somebody.
tithe.
Yeah, exactly. Not my tithe. That's right. Lord, if it hits, I'll give you double tithe, right? So this is money that I have allocated in my trading account. So I don't need it. Does that make sense? So that helps me, number one, not be stressed out and keeps me there. The second thing I would say that helps me keep focus, I've got, of course, the fruit of the Spirit, but in layman's and practical term is I believe in my investment. So if I don't believe in it, I'm not buying it. So like when I talk to you about Uber, I've done my research, I've seen the chart, so I believe in it, I know about it. So therefore, I can weather the storms of the ups and downs. And I realize that no stock ever goes all the way down. If it's a good company, no stock goes all the way up. There's going to be moments, there's going to be volatility. There's one thing I can guarantee you about the stock market, it's going to move. Right? So when you wake up tomorrow, it's going to move. Now, I don't know which direction, but it's going to move, right? And then the last thing I would say is I have a long-term mentality. So like, for example, would you sell, like for all those that own homes, if you go on Zillow and your house is worth a little less, are you going to sell it? Sell my house. Oh, no. What are you going to do? You're going to say, it's fine. It'll go back up, right? So I have the mentality of my stock's like my real estate. I'm not going to sell it just because Zillow said it went down, right? Because I know long-term it's a good investment. And that's the way that helps me be mentality.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.